the recording now. Okay, well, welcome everybody to this event in the International Festival of Mentoring Teacher Research. And I will introduce the speakers. First, I just want to say a few words. My name is Richard Smith from Warwick University. You're very, very welcome. It's great to see so many people from all around the world. I'm just going to say a few words about the festival itself. We have quite a lot of events showcasing different schemes where teacher research is being mentored around the world. And this is to show how it can be mentored and to encourage others to start similar schemes, and also to learn from the experiences of mentors who are mentoring teachers to engage in teacher research, which we think is a very, very useful thing for teachers. It's co-organized by MentorNet, which is a network for mentors. And if you are a mentor of teacher research, you're very, very welcome to join. The email at the URL is very simple. It's mentor, mentrnet, as you can see here, .net. And you can come and explore our website, and you can look at recordings of all the events we've had so far, which I think you'll find interesting. You can see that we are grateful to the British Council, to the Teacher Trainer Journal, to IATF Research SIG supporting the festival. Now, today I'm really happy to introduce um, the speakers for today's event, which is about mentoring teacher research as a local educational authority initiative. And we're going to hear from mentors, organizers of an initiative that's being carried out in SCERT in Delhi. And I'm going to hand over to Professor Rama Matthew. Great pleasure to introduce her. And we better mute the other speakers, Elia.
Yeah.
Rama, I've known for many years now. We used to collaborate in the ARMS project, the Action Research Mentoring Scheme in India. Before that, in the TELCnet initiative, teaching English in large classes. And Rama is very, very well known. She's received an Outstanding Achievement Award from the British Council recently. And she's very well known internationally as a mentor of teachers and well loved by teachers as far away as Sierra Leone, as well as Bangladesh, India. So I'll hand over to Rama to introduce today's event. Thank you, Rama.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you all very much for joining this event. And we are going to talk about our work in the last 2 or 3 years we have been doing with SCERT, in SCERT, with teachers from Delhi schools. Therefore, because it's SCERT, it's government schools. We are very proud of that, actually. But before we go into any detail, the best person to introduce this would be Dr. Gaurav Sharma. We are also very grateful to Dr. Rita Sharma, who is the director of SCERT, and she has joined us now. And thank you very much, Dr. Sharma, for initiating this and then supporting all our teachers, mentors, and everybody. So I give it over to Gaurav, and Gaurav will, do a short introduction to how this all started and how it's going. Gaurav. I think it will be good for people to mute themselves. Otherwise, there's a lot of cross talk.
Yeah, we are doing that as we hear that. Please mute yourself while speaking.
Yeah.
A very good evening, namaste to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Richard and Professor Rama, to give us space to share our experiences. First of all, I would like to thank SCERT Delhi and the highest authorities of SCERT Delhi who have given us so much of a space, and I must say independent space. Thank you, Dr. Rita Sharma. She is with us, and all my colleagues, including Sanjay, Kapila, and many more. So before moving to sharing my experiences, I'll request my worthy director to speak for 2 or 3 minutes to introduce this idea of action research, so that we can move forward. Dr. Rita Sharma, she is a uh, director of SCERT, having some other responsibilities also as additional director, Directorate of Education, and she has been a teacher also. So I must say, very long experience, and the role she has played a pivotal role in this action research project. I request Dr. Rita Sharma to kindly say a few words so that we can move forward. Dr. Rita Sharma.
Thank you, Gaurav, and a very warm good evening from India to Professor Richard and Professor Matthew. It's my honor to be in company of such eminent educationists and being a part of this discussion. I hope I'll be enlightened further. I'll just share a small incident. SCRT is the organization where we provide in-service teacher training as well as pre-service teacher training. So once I was visiting one of our diet, which is it's a kind of arm of SCRT only, where the trainings are provided to the potential teachers and other teachers, in-service teachers. So I was talking to one second-year student who was in the final year of teacher training, and I asked him, "Have you been to your school education program?" And then they said, "Yes, we have been to our school education program." And then I asked them, "What is the difference you notice in yourself or maybe in your understanding of teaching or classroom processes before going for a school experience program and now that you have completed school experience program?" And his answer was quite an eye-opener for his colleagues as well as for us also. He said, "When I went to the classroom, I thought I know everything and I'm going to teach the way I think is best for the students in the classroom. But when I was teaching over there and when I finished the teaching, I was looking at the faces of the students in my classroom. And now I understand that my understanding of classroom processes is not what I supposed it is. I have to think from the perspective of the students. I have to think from the perspectives of the other teachers also. I have to keep in mind the other responsibilities as a teacher. I have to perform in the school. And now I know that I was thinking I was teaching, but students were thinking otherwise. So I have to take different point of views and assimilate them into my teaching, and I have to prepare my action plan accordingly. I have to prepare for a future course of action accordingly, and I have to find out what gaps are there which need to be filled and how. So I think that was the best response I received. And this action research project, which Gaurav and his team and some other team members from SCRT have been doing on for quite some time, it reflects this thought process only. When we plan a training program for the teachers come, but sometimes we see that this training fails to translate into the expected results. And only teachers who are facing the real life situation in their classroom, they can be the best judge how to mold the training or what needs to be tweaked and what needs to be deleted or added or maybe some other strategies. So I think this is a very nice idea to start an action research or mentoring of teachers for this. And I'm grateful to Professor Matthew and Professor Richard Smith for that. I believe that the faculty of SCRT who is here will share their experiences also and what they are doing, and they will further benefit from the discussion over here. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I look forward to further like a collaboration with you two, University of Warwick and Professor Matthew. And I think we all are in here for the cause of education. And thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving further, without any delay, because we would like to listen to the experiences of our teachers, I'll definitely take 2-3 minutes. This idea of this specific project was initiated from the observations when I was a school teacher and some of my colleagues like Dr. Sanjay and Ms. Kapila, we were talking about that school is filled with lot of opportunities of reflections for teachers, and teachers are definitely reflecting again and again in their classrooms, outside their classrooms, but at times they are not able to document or not able to systemize these reflections. So these reflections works, but I think there should be some kind of opportunity where those reflections should be systemized in some way, and those reflections should, I must say, be documented also. So this is the scenario when this idea came to some of our colleagues like Dr. Sanjay and Ms. Kapila. There are various factors because of which teachers are not able to concentrate on these reflections, like time constraint, lack of awareness, and some kind of common platform that supports systematic inquiry into the classroom issues. So one more thing was that action research has been part of pre-service teacher education programs in SCERT, like ma'am said, DLED and Bachelor in Education programs. But unfortunately, this concept rarely translates into the real world application once teachers enter into the school system. So recognizing this gap, we, with the help of our director SCERT, proposed a program that would not bring action research into the classroom, but also create a collaborative platform for teachers to share and learn from each other. When this idea was first proposed, it sparked some discussions like teachers are already doing reflections. They are having many skills like problem solving, a lot of things in their classroom. Then why to introduce a formal action research program from SCERT? Some colleagues of mine has raised this question. So my simple answer along with my colleague Sanjay was that structured program would provide teachers some kind of tools and frameworks to critically examine their practices systematically and document their findings and share insights with a broader community. No? SCERT gives a platform to all these teachers. With this understanding, the program was launched in 2021 and 22, and I think there was around 25 35 teachers was selected. Selected means they had volunteered for this program, that along with their classroom teaching they will be participating in this program. There were a lot of I must say initial challenges in this program. We will discuss this later, but the I must say that the journey has been very satisfying to some extent to me personally, because as a teacher I could see that the outcome of systematic reflections challenges your assumptions. Being a teacher, I have a lot of assumptions with me that this is right, this is wrong. Oh, why are you not doing these things? When we reflect on our thinking, it gives some kind of, I must say, challenges to our own assumptions. So this journey, this process-oriented journey, along with my colleagues, was very much, I must say, satisfying. And the community, the SCERT is going to develop with the help of these teachers when they'll become mentors in the coming times, will be very much helpful for me and for all the teachers, I believe. Now I hand over this to Professor Rama to move further as per the plan. And I'll request Dr. Sanjay and Dr. Kapila also, when we'll be discussing challenges and other experiences, they may also share their experiences. Professor Rama.
Okay, thanks very much, Gaurav. I just want to recount or just capture a couple of points that have struck me as you people started this whole journey. I call it a journey because a journey has many intended and unintended things happening. Some we plan for, some we don't plan for, and we learn from them all. And we need to understand that, okay, these provide opportunities for learning. And therefore, today when we have our mentors talk about their journey, it actually begins from when they were teachers and how they became teacher researchers, and from teacher researchers to mentors. And therefore, that whole thing is a very seamlessly continuing, satisfying professional journey. So there is a lot of worth in that. Just to add another 2 or 3 points, small points, when we began first, I think there were people, quite senior people, who had already done action research as part of the British Council's ARMS project. And they were mentees, some of them mentors. So there was quite a lot of rich experience. So they have made a kind of transition from, maybe they were schools in government, teachers in government schools, may not be, but what has that transition been like? What did they gather on their journey? That kind of thing. And from younger teachers to senior teachers, what does it mean? Can you be a mentor when you're a junior teacher? If you have done enough research, it gives you a kind of an insight. And then it also helps you to understand deeply what the processes are, classroom processes are. And therefore, people can be mentors. Mentoring is all about supporting the other person, supporting each other, in fact. We have had projects where mentors have become mentees because they are learning from their mentees, and their mentees have become mentors. So it's a very non-hierarchical give and take relationship. And I'm sure when our mentors talk about their journey, this also will be reflected. We have had one batch already complete this, and as Richard said, last year, exactly a year ago, 9th of December to be exact, we had a symposium that SCERT organized, and he was physically present. And he saw the whole group of first batch researchers talk about their experience. And then they had presented posters and they made presentations, and it was a very interesting symposium. We also had faculty from the University of Delhi. And from then on, we have come this far, and this is the second batch going. And some mentors are continuing, some mentors have not been able to continue, or mentees have become mentors. It's a kind of apprenticeship, when you start becoming part of a community of practice, you learn in very different ways, as I said. So there are a whole lot of rich experiences that you will be hearing. I'm very excited, I'm very pleased, and I'm really grateful to SCERT, because this is probably the first initiative that's been taken up by a government. Usually it's private school teachers. So thanks to SCERT and to Dr. Rita Sharma, as she rightly said, you need to allot some specific time, and it's a kind of a luxury, if you like, but it's not. Only then will you be able to do this easily. Otherwise, if you get sucked up in the routine activities of this school and your life, then you can always push this aside, because work has to be finished, the syllabus has to be completed, tests have to be given, and so on and so on. But the kind of learning, deep learning that you get out of this kind of a luxury activity, luxury in quotes, is, I think, worth it. That's why I'm very grateful to SCERT, and I hope they continue to support this kind of a thing. And thanks to Richard for helping us to set this up, and then meet a whole lot of teachers there as audience, and we'll be very happy to share the whole thing. So I would like to now request Esther to say a few things, because she has continued from first batch to second batch. I think she might have something concrete. Esther, do you have something to say at this point?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to share this with all of you. Batch number 1, as Gaurav said, we had about 35 teachers. And one thing that I noticed was that as we were discussing things and they came in, as Gaurav also mentioned, that they voluntarily came for it. They weren't forced at all by their authorities or anybody. So that was one very positive thing that they had come there voluntarily, but sadly some of them had to drop out because of certain issues. Secondly, one thing that I would specifically like to mention is that uh, mostly the government school teachers are looked down, sort of a thing, and it is very sad. And um, they have certain other responsibilities as well, not just teaching. They have teachers like getting some ration cards made, some IDs made, some bank accounts. They have to get the students, help the students to get them bank accounts and other things, so many other responsibilities. Plus they have election duties and many more that I can mention here. And yet it was very encouraging to see that most of the teachers voluntary are wanting to come apart from all these responsibilities that they had, and then they have come. And 17 of them successfully did their work and completed the action research in the first batch. The second batch was a larger batch, and many more teachers joined in because they had seen the first batch, they heard about it, and they wanted to learn more about it. So we have about in the second batch, we have about 29 teachers, and 9 of them are, here I would like to mention that 9 of them are teacher mentors who are already mentoring. They have about 5 schools under them, and they go for mentoring. And so this is another a bright batch. So we have 29 bright teachers doing the action research exploration with us. And all of them have great they have been doing great work. The other point that I would like to mention is that students in the government school are from the challenging background, and they have limited sources, limited resources, and their parents are working very hard to meet two ends. And for them, um, even the mother tongue, to read and write in their own mother tongue, becomes sometimes difficult because they hardly have that sort of environment at home. So here we have teachers who are working hard, and they are wanting to come up with issues where they can do much better with the students who are from the challenging backgrounds. And uh, the English is like second, third, or even for some it's a fourth language, because father speaks in one language and mother speaks another language, Hindi is spoken, and then English they come to. So yeah, and this is how they do. So the second batch is doing their work well, and probably we'll have a symposium in the month of March or April. And like uh, I would like to give an example. It's just not about English teaching. They have taken it to a different level of having research on other subjects as well, the issues in other subjects as well, and not only in other subjects, but things like absenteeism also, because students tend to miss out on school very often. So they have even worked on that. Now if we see the word absenteeism, it could mean a very small thing, but actually it is the struggle of the teachers and the students, some of them who come up with it. And the teachers are going deep into the issues of why, where, what, and how. So it's very encouraging to see, and I can see a big gap between the first batch and the second batch, because probably the first batch was the torch bearers, and then now the second ones know how to do it a bit. And the other encouraging part is that some of the teachers from the first batch are now mentoring the second batch. So, it's coming like a chain. It's not just stuck up one in one place, but it's coming down like a chain. And that's why encouraging. We hope that, it comes up as a cycle. So that's what I want to just say. And later on, I'll share some more with you. Over to Rama, ma'am.
Thank you very much for those very insightful observations, Esther. Now we'll move on to one of our main sessions, which is all the mentors talking about their journey. Here I would like to share a PowerPoint that they will all use. So give me a second. I hope I can share this. Can you all see the screen?
Yes, we
Yes,
can see
ma'am.
it.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that's great. So I'm going to make it slideshow. Yeah, there it is. So mentoring teacher research as a local educational authority initiative. And then we go on to the next one. I just show you the next one. Our journey as mentors is the title for this particular short session. We have got 5 mentors, as you can see: Shikha, Usha, Sharon, Anahita, Mahendra Nimbalkar, and Esther herself. So I would like to call on Shikha, who's the first one to go. Shikha, are you there? So this is her. This is what she wants to say, but then I would
Yes,
like to.
ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Shikha, over to you. You titled it as "What Has
Am I
Been My
audible, ma'am?
Journey So Far." Yeah.
Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shikha, and I'm teacher in Delhi Government School. And I have a very enriching journey because earlier I used to be a teacher, then a teacher researcher, and now I'm mentoring all my teacher researchers. And very, I'm very thankful to SCRT for giving me this opportunity. And I started my journey in ARMS project as a teacher, and it was really a great experience because at that time I was a novice and unaware of this research process. And I had my own doubts and inhibitions because uh, as a government school teacher, I didn't have those resources, and I was having duties and charges and all the administrative work that we were talking about. So I had my own doubts, but as I talked to my mentor, they helped me a lot, and I learned the basics of the exploratory action research process. And some of the major points that I want to share, that I recorded my reflective journal, which helped me a lot and which led to the quality improvement in my teaching practices. I used to have my reflection in my diary, and I recorded everything which I found important. And it was really an emotional support, and it acted as a document for me. It helped me to document and analyze my observation, and it was helpful in deeper thinking because I was able to deeply think about my methods, learning processes, and students' outcomes. And I became more reflective in my teaching practices. And that's how it started and it went. Then I went to my mentor journey. it also started with arms in the year 2019. And at this time I was a mentor, and I was mentoring the government school teachers. And this was very beneficial for me because I was well acquainted with the challenges faced by the government school teachers. And I want to share that I worked with MCD school teachers as well as government school teachers, Delhi government school teachers. So I had teachers from MCD and Delhi government. So I got experience that the problems they were facing, and mostly they have administrative issues. For example, they were always saying that they have extra workload, and they have this apar IDs creation, and so many other problems. But I just realized that apart from these challenges, they were motivated to do this research in their classrooms. So, as a government school teacher, I had the solution for those challenges, and I was able to guide them. And this opportunity was great for me to grow as a mentor because I had regular communication with them. My fellow mentors and super mentors were also there to help me, and I learned so many things in this process. And from the hand holding, I became independent in dealing with my teacher researchers, and it was great for my capacity building, facilitation, and coordination, which I got from my SIPO mentors and my teacher researchers also. There are so many things to share, but I have just picked out the major points which I wanted to. I'll talk about challenges in my next session.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Oh, this one, you were going to talk about this, Shikha, or have you finished? Working collaboratively?
Yes, I would like to share. Uh, just a minute, ma'am. My babies.
Okay.
Yes, working collaboratively is the favorite part because it was like combining my teacher's knowledge with the mentor, and it helped me to bring my insights. And I think that teacher enhance their practices in this process, and while mentors develop their coaching skills when they work collaboratively. In my case, whenever I had some problem, I just shared it with my mentors and even my mentees. When they sit together, they come to discuss their problems, and with the help of each other, they find solutions also. Some of them have the same problem. We have PGD2, PGD geography in my group. So mostly they have the same problems in their school and subject areas, which they try to tackle with the help of each other. And we try to communicate regularly. So working collaboratively help us a lot. And
Okay.
it also help us to bring support and trust and safe environment, because
Okay.
we can share ideas without judgment. My mentees feel safe, and they share their personal problems with me, and I, without being judgmental, give them the right advice or the right course of action. And this is it from my side.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Shikha. Thanks a lot. Now I
Thank
would
you,
like to
ma'am.
invite Usha and probably even Mahendra, who is going to come next, both of them. Usha, are you there?
Yes. Yeah, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
Good evening, all. I'm Usha, and I'm working in Delhi Government School. So I have been fortunate enough to work with Rama ma'am and Dr. Richard and Anna Maria, and I have learned a lot from them. And I think my whole journey helped me to grow professionally and personally both. And I can say that being a mentor, it was a larger platform where I learned both from my students and from my mentees also. So I would like to share that.
Yeah.
So I would like to share that when you're working with new mentors, the mentor with new mentees who are mentoring first time. Sorry, ma'am.
It
When
doesn't matter.
you're mentoring teachers who are doing action research in their class first time. So initially, it's very important for a mentor to understand their context. It's important to work with them very slowly and make them to understand and to think for themselves only. We need to ask some kind of probing questions. I would like to share one example when we were thinking about problems and teachers were jotting down their problems. What will be the problem of their classroom? What they want to um, explore about. So some of them were sharing about MCQs, that students are not able to solve the MCQs. They are facing problem because students are not disciplined, or they are not able to solve the maps in social sciences. So when we discuss with them about those problems, and we discuss that do they want to explore around those problems only, and when we as a mentor ask different probing questions, help them to think out of the box, and we build a kind of rapport with them, then they started coming up with different ideas, with different problems. We also shared different case studies with them, which helped them to develop some kind of idea about action research. And later on, we share our experiences also, how we worked as a mentee when we were doing classroom based research in our classrooms. So this helped them to understand the whole idea about action research, and then they started writing some questions. They came up with some questions. So some of the questions were, and those questions were doable and according to the time frame also. So some of the questions were, how do formal assessment, peer assessment, and group assessment help in improving the academic performance of students in political science? Earlier, this teacher was talking about the problem of mapping, that students are not able to fill the maps. But later on she came up with this question. Maths teacher, she wanted to search about, investigate the impact of maths teaching learning material on students. Then one more mentee who shared that she want to explore around how to develop peer learning culture in mathematics. So I think that the kind of informal relationship which we build during sharing, when we started growing together, when I was not like I was a mentor, but I was not instructing them. I was there as a peer or a more knowledgeable person, or I can say not knowledgeable. Basically, I can say that more experienced person who has some kind of experience in doing classroom based research. I shared my experience as a experienced person, and then slowly we work together, we grow together, and we learn from each other. So
I'm just showing the second slide if you want to pick up points here.
no ma'am, I want to read first slide.
But yeah, okay, but then you don't have much
Okay.
more time, that's why.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, you can change the slide. Okay. And one more very important thing is that being a mentor, it's very important for you to be a mindful listener. We need to listen carefully. We need to try and understand the context of the mentee, and then we need to guide them in a proper sequence, in a proper way, as and when required. Uh, Effective communication is very important, so we need to be very polite. We need to choose words. Selection of words is very important. We need to choose words which can create a kind of understanding, and which can which should not show any kind of hierarchy. We also need to think and sink into the work. Basically, this means that uh, it should be an ongoing process. It will take time. So it's a continuous process, and we need to give time to understand the whole process and understand the pace of the mentees also. And during mentoring, it's very important to give a constructive feedback, and as and when required. If someone is sharing any kind of if a mentee is struggling with any questions, they want to ask some questions or struggling with any issue, then it's very important to give them feedback on time, and it's very important to give them feedback in a constructive way. We should the language of feedback should be like we are guiding them how to reach at the next level. Rapport building is very important, and yes, definitely doable goals should be there. And I would like to share that reflective journals are also very important. And we need to guide our mentees that they should make reflective journals, because as a mentee, when I used to write lots of reflection, I used to write my reflective journals in diary. So I was able to see the progression in my students, and it also helped me to grow as a mentee and later on as a mentor. If I know what is the pace of my mentees, then I can see where I need to help them, where I need to guide them. So reflective journals are very important, and we all should make reflective journals. Even being a teacher, mentor, or mentees, we should write reflective journals.
Usha, if you don't mind, would you like to talk about the challenges of this mentor-mentee being whatever in the next slot?
Okay,
and
ma'am.
give it over to, yeah?
Yes,
Is there
ma'am.
anything you want to add to the earlier point and finish it now?
Pardon, ma'am?
Is there anything you want to add about the other points?
Nothing, ma'am.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Usha. Thank you. Let me check if Mahendra wants to come now or Sharon. Mahendra, do you want to talk about communication and so on now? Okay.
Yes.
Just a word about Mahendra. A very, very different kind of teacher and mentor, because for me, it's a very new thing. He's a Sanskrit teacher, believe it or not. And he supports other language teachers, subject teachers, content subjects like mathematics or home science and so on. And he says he has learned a lot from all those. Over to you, Mahendra.
Thank you, ma'am. Namaste and good evening to all. I am Mahendra Nimbalkar. I would like to share about how continuous communication is important in mentoring. This thought came in mind with my experience when I was mentee in British Council's ARMS project. During research work project, there were 3 mentors in our team, and every month there was a meeting to discuss progress and difficulties. Apart from that, there were continuous communication and feedback on WhatsApp and on calls. Actually, I was blessed because one of the mentor was my respected wife. So I received continuous guidance at home also.
Tell us who she is. Tell us who she is. Your wife is
Mrs. Usha Malhan.
Who presented just before him.
Yeah. Whenever I have doubts, questions, and problems, they were solved then and there. And actually, I am lucky in that case. Sometimes I was part of mentor meetings, which helped me to learn to mentoring. When I got an opportunity to become a mentor at SCERT, I grabbed it. In classroom situation also, I tried to apply continuous communication with students, and I found it very impactful. When we are in action research, we learn and grow each day with mentees. I would like to share my learning, which were it changed my thinking regarding home science as subject. One of my mentee was Miss Pallavi Sharma. when she shared about plannings activities gradually, I got to know that home science is far more than cooking only. Actually, home science is related to day-to-day life, which is helpful to live a healthy and good life. With mentees, I got a chance to learn about different aspects, difficulties, and struggles of different subjects. I think that when we teach in classroom, oftenly we try to finish our syllabus rather than focusing on learning. But when we do action research, our focus shifted to learning. Actually, action research give that track naturally. We plan activity based learning, we observe, we collect the data, again we replan. So I feel at last maintaining the continuous communication is still a challenge for me, and I'm struggling with that. Thank you so much. Over to Rama ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Mahendra, for that very insightful comments. Now I'm going back to this one. There is Sharon Anahita, who was a mentee, then mentor, and so on. So, Sharon, over to you.
Hello, everybody. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
My name is Sharon. I started my journey of action research with the British Council with the project of arms in 2018 and 19. I did it along with Shikha ma'am. I would just like to share a brief account of how my experience was back then because I had no clue what action research was and what I was getting into at that point, which only seemed like a project. It turned out to be a lifestyle, at least for me. And so when I entered the project of arms, and that was the time I had to actually critically analyze my own work. So this was the time period where I had to learn to keep my own teacher ego aside, and I realized that I did not have all the answers that were required, even for my classroom, for my learners. Like, you keep trying, like Mahinda sir mentioned, you keep trying till the time you succeed. And I was not there. It was just impossible. When I realized the importance of, it was a very crucial thing for me that I realized the importance of involvement of the learners in this entire process of action research. That how that sometimes their little example, their little feedback can impact your entire class and can impact your entire teaching method. So that's where I learned it from. And then going on, I realized that, a teacher, I had this mindset that a teacher is always, not I, but I would say this is a general mindset that is carried uh, in India, that a teacher is right or has all the answers. And that was the time that this mindset of mine changed, that teacher is not always right. Now, when I was stepping into this project with the SCRT regarding the mentoring, I was a little doubtful, to be very honest, that if I'll be able to pull it off or not. Reason being because all of my colleagues come from a government background. They all have worked with government schools and teachers, and they have a very good understanding of the kind of issues that they have, or the setup that they come from. And I came from a private background. I have always worked in private schools, and that has been my association and still is. So I was not very sure if I would be helpful to these teachers. But when we started this project, I again entered it with an assumption, or rather a myth, I would say, is I had this mindset that, government teachers don't put in their full efforts, or, they don't give their best. Even when they have the opportunities, they have, so many things available to them, whereas in private setup, your hands are tied. They tell you what to do, and that there is a different set of expectation that is expected out of a teacher in a private setup. And when I started speaking to these teachers, you will not believe, but in the first meeting itself, that myth was busted, and I was like, okay, I think so. I've got it all wrong. And I believe that this shift has helped me a lot as a mentor when I sat with my mentees and we were just having conversations as Usha ma'am explained. These were conversations and they're just telling about their classrooms, their experiences, and I came to a realization or an understanding that the challenges that each one of them faced in their classroom was a lot more than just education. They were dealing with real life reality of our country somewhere, and we're also dealing with real life issues. These are social issues that most probably I as a private school teacher have read about in my economics or a social study book. And this is their day-to-day life. This is what they're walking into a classroom every day. One of the mentees I would like to share this example. One of the mentees, while we were in a conversation, she works in a school which it's an all-girls school, and she was talking about how that when a child doesn't come for long, they have to go to the houses of these children to ensure and to check what's wrong. And she mentioned it that sometimes parents think that it is a waste of time for a child to go to school. They would rather have the child, help them with the family business, or, with just selling vegetables or sitting at the shop to, sharing the family responsibilities to make the meet ends. And for girl children, for a girl child, some of them even had concept of what's the hope of education. Eventually, she's going to get married. Where is she going to use this education? And while I was listening to them, it hit me so hard. These were experiences that I was never going to walk into as a private school teacher. Something that I would not see, because here I have a privileged set of learners who are willing to actually learn. Their parents are actually willing to invest in their studies. And so all of these experiences helped me and pushed me as a mentor to understand their perspective, to understand the fact that the kind of solutions that I would have for them, or the kind of suggestions rather that I would have, it had to evolve, and it had to be in sync with their day-to-day life with these children. So for me, it was a very different experience of stepping into my mentees shoes and to understand the diverse approach that they have. I mean, you just look at it, you think that it's a nation's education system that you're talking about. But even our educational system is so diverse. And it was where it is so beautiful that how these teachers handle it. I think so for me, the appreciation level just went high. One of the examples that I would like to share with you of an activity done was by a teacher named Miss Nisha. She is a science teacher. She also teaches them since they have a concept of mother teacher. So she did an activity. She was teaching them about currency. So as you can see, these were the things that the children made. These were the real currencies that they tried making, and they did it for all over the world, and they did it for India as well. Now this is just a simple example, and it's so beautiful. But if it was in a private school, I would have most probably got them the Monopoly set to show them the notes, or even the real ones, a matter of fact. So, but these children, they do not have enough resources, and yet they took time to make them. It shows the kind of interest that they have, and it shows the kind of interest that the teachers have towards them. So, all of this is, I believe for me, it has been such a rich journey of learning from these teachers, and I am enjoying mentoring these teachers. And as a matter of fact, I would say I am enjoying learning from these teachers. They have taught me a lot. So I want to thank SCRT for this opportunity that they are letting a teacher from a private school help and learn with this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Sharon, for that very different kind of whatever experience that you had. Now we have Esther again. If you want to mention, I don't have any points put down, but Esther, do you have anything to add here about your journey itself? You've mentioned quite a bit, but if there is anything else now you want to add before we go on to the next slot.
Yes, ma'am, I would like
Hmm.
to add
Okay.
in a few.
Okay.
Just like I was a teacher in the school in the university, and then later on we did a project with Rama ma'am, and which was students and teachers as co-researchers, and then came up to ARMS, where Professor Richard was our mentor, and Anna Maria was also involved with Rama ma'am. So that's where the journey began with the ARMS project and then later on, it continued. And, this becomes a lifestyle. It's not just a project, it's a lifestyle. And as I'm mentoring for the second year in SCRT, I see that the first batch that has gone by, they always say this, that it has now become their lifestyle. The way they used to look at their classes, the way it has changed a lot. So now coming to the issues that they took up, I remember in the first batch there was one teacher who asked me, "Ma'am, will I be able to do it?" I don't know what was in her mind when she asked me this, because she thought action research is something that is out of syllabus and out of the blue, and something that is very difficult, because teachers have a lot of extra teaching responsibilities. It's not just teaching, it's apart from that. So now here I would like to say that the students come from a very challenging backgrounds, as I told you, and this one teacher who wanted to um, I she wanted to introduce a noun in the class, and it was very difficult for her to introduce. And then she came up with their idea of picking up, getting wrappers in the school, biscuit wrappers and chocolate wrappers and whatever wrappers were available. Now here are the teachers getting the resources what their students would like to have, and the understanding that they would have. So, picking up wrappers and getting and putting them up on the board, it not only helped her own class, it helped the whole. There were students coming from other classes as well coming up and doing this work. Now, here, another incident that I would like to mention from the first batch is that there was a teacher who was teaching, she was a special educator in the school who came up, and she had an issue with the hearing impaired child. Now, this was the first time that we had a special educator, and I had never come across a special educator coming up for the research in ARMS project, EAR. And I had never heard, maybe there were some, but so when she came up with this, she had her own challenges and the child had her own challenges. And something so interesting was that the teacher came up with her own idea that she would ask the child what his problems were. Here I would like to highlight how important it is for the child to take the view of the child himself. And she asked the child the problems that he was facing. And after picking up the problems that the child was facing, she could cater it to that. And she didn't even not only cater it to them, because the main problem was the communication with other students as well. This is the child who was in an inclusive classroom where there were normal students, and he was the only hearing impaired child. So you can understand the problems that they had. So the teacher had to get into the language, how she managed to take up the language, how she managed to introduce sign language in the school. That was so encouraging. And it was a great learning for me how enthusiastic the teacher and the child also helped the teacher do it. So, the students a student and the teacher work together to bring this issue, and that was so important. And as we were talking,
Esther, is it okay if I stop you at this point, go on to the next slot? We are past the time.
yeah, sure,
Is
ma'am.
that okay?
Sure, ma'am.
You can come back in the challenges slot again or in the next one. Okay. Is that all right? We
Yeah.
are more than 6 minutes past our time. Okay. Now I'm again calling on the same people, including Gaurav, Kapila, and so on. Maybe I think among the mentors, if you can just mention the most pressing challenges that you have managed to address. I'll just show the slide here. Challenges we have tried to address in these 2 years and challenges we hope to address. So who would like to just say, be very, very brief, I would say, if it's possible. Many challenges you have already mentioned, actually, all of you in your presentations. Anything which you have not mentioned, which is very significant. And so shall we call Kapila and Gaurav first, from SCRT point of view, from batch 1 to batch 2, what are some of the continuing challenges or one challenge that you managed to address successfully or, fruitfully? Would you like to talk about that, Gaurav and Kapila and Sanjay?
May I, ma'am?
Yeah.
I'll briefly talk about the two challenges. One was from organizational perspective that initially I was thinking that this project will go in the self-sustainable mode on itself. But I think this needs a consistent support and persuasion to carry out this project in some kind of administrative setup. Means you need people, academic people at the highest authorities like Dr. Rita or the previous director or our joint director, Dr. Naha Singh. I was lucky enough, but at times I think the authorities should have very specific academic background. In my case, it was done, but there was time I was not able to say the to send the project in self-sustainable mode. Like if I am not there, the project should go on its own because we are temporarily in this organization. Basically, I'm a teacher, and SCRT has given me opportunity to work with as an assistant professor. So maybe next year I'll go back to my school. So I was thinking that I should set the mode in self-automatic mode, but we are doing fine. The second thing with respect to the process was like some teachers' aspirations was very much different from this action research project. Like someone asked that what will I gain from this initiative? Will it lead to some kind of measurable and concrete in my career? Like I recall a case of Mr. Tarun who just asked us to taught him the quantitative aspect of research so that he can prepare for the synopsis of his PhD proposal. So it was really hard to make them convinced that this is not about some kind of explicit reward you will get, but there should be some kind of intrinsic sense of inquiry. So slowly we could able to say make realize some teachers that action research required a different kind of motivation that is intrinsic, and it demands a genuine interest in exploring classroom challenges and a commitment to improving teaching and learning practices for the benefit of student, not some kind of miserable external thing. So as Esther told us that it is a kind of lifestyle, it is a part of your life. So this journey of mindset of ours, including some teachers, that there should be some kind of intrinsic motivation in me as a teacher for inquiry and reflection. And one more thing is that we do reflect as a teacher, we do reflect, but is my reflection is helping me to gain something through which I can challenge my assumptions with respect to my teaching and learning, specifically my teaching.
Okay.
At times, we have to set one step back and to see the different kind of assumptions we are making as a teacher. And I think this challenge is also part of this process, and we are living this process. Hope we are going to make a kind of
Okay.
community in which we could see our assumptions also. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know if Kapila is here or Sanjay is here. Do you want to add anything, or do you want to come in later, Kapila? Kapila and Sanjay.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I'm here. I hope I'm audible. Yes. So,
Kapila is also from SCERT.
yes. So, apart from the challenges mentioned by Dr. Gaurav and our mentors, I would like to mention that it took some part of convincing from the teachers to get them allowed to participate in this project. So, some principals didn't allow teachers to come here and to give them on duty certificate for participating in such project. So, and I'll pick up the thread that Dr. Gaurav left it. So it was the internal motivation of those teachers that motivated them to come here and getting their leaves marked. In spite of those challenges, they came to SCERT and they worked hard also. And they sometimes they didn't get any support from schools also, and they were not they didn't have any kind of external motivation. So there are many action research projects that are going on, and some of the projects provide some incentives also. But this program, there was no incentive as such. So it was the internal motivation, encouragement of our mentors, and of course, sometimes it was the motivational talk by Rama ma'am also that worked in our favor, and that kept the program going. Apart from this challenging, sometimes I observe that zeroing down the action research problem from a broader area was a challenge, but also that was managed. And some teachers, I observed, they were not clear about what area to pick on, because they found it very difficult to problematize the situation of the classroom itself. So, after long discussions with them, so it got sorted out, because problematizing the situation is very important, and that was done very successfully by our mentors. And one problem that I observed in the second time of it was while we were selecting the mentees. So second time it was a huge response, and we had a difficult time selecting the mentees. So some of them even asked why they were not selected. And then we had this internal discussion that how many mentors should we arrange for these teachers? What should be the ratio of the mentor-mentee relationship here? So these were some of the challenges. Some led to our internal difference of opinions also, but there was no discordance because we all were working for the same cause, and it all got sorted out in the end for everyone because of everyone's internal motivation to improve classroom situations. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Kapila. Thank you. Is Dr. Sanjay Sharma here? Okay. Gaurav, is he there?
I think he's left, ma'am. He's not there.
Okay. Okay. Now, want to go on to the next one, but unless one of you mentors has some very, very specific kind of a challenge that you would like to talk about, either Usha, Sharon, Shikha, Mahinder, and Esther. Any one person, because we are really, we want to, we in another 5 minutes, we have to have the question answer time. And we want Mansi to talk. Yeah.
Ma'am, I would just like to say it in one sentence that what I would like to see in future is that the special educators.
Challenges.
Challenge.
Faye?
Yeah.
Ma'am, can I share?
challenges faced? Okay, Usha.
Ma'am, being a young
We'll come
mentor,
back to you.
being a young mentor, it was a bit difficult this time to work with mentees, because earlier I have worked with teachers only. I was a teacher and all the mentees were teachers. But this time, some of the mentees were, head of the school, some of them are mentors, and they have very rich experience. So initially, when SR introduce us as a mentor, so they were like, what kind of experience will they be able to share with us? There was some kind of hesitation in them. And I also realized there is some, they were not ready to listen us, and they were not responding us seriously. But over a period of time, we resolve this issue, and slowly initially being a mentor, I started listening to them. I give them chance to share their experiences. I acknowledge their experiences, and over a period of time we develop a kind of rapport where we were able to exchange our experiences, and we were able to learn from each other.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Usha. Now we are going on to very quickly what do we wish to do next? This is the thing. Is Mansi here?
Yes, ma'am.
What are our plans, and then are we consolidating some things? What we did earlier?
So
if Mansi
after
is here, yeah.
Yes, am I
Mansi.
audible?
Yeah.
So last year on the 9th of December, when the first batch of action researchers presented their work, we kind of invited all of them who had completed and made the presentation to contribute in writing and in a chapter format, key insights from the work that they had done. So what we are planning is to bring together, and we have received 6 chapters, 6 contributions out of the 10 we had sought contributions from, and 2 more are on their way. So we hope to kind of get back to putting together the action researcher's own voice, the experience of taking up exploratory action research and seeing it through, as well as some of the mentors' experience, some of which we heard today, into a volume, so that it's available as a resource for the next batch of, and for any other teacher who plans to do classroom-based teacher research. So we had felt even during the orientation sessions that drawing on the Bangladesh book or the Sierra Leone experiences of teachers was very, very instrumental in kind of taking away this idea of teacher research as just another form of academic research. So to bust that myth that this is not an exercise of verification, this is not necessarily a research which is done for universal knowledge, but this is a research which is supposed to enhance the capacity for reflection and inquiry within the space of teachers' own classrooms, to gain insights about how to be an engaged practitioner and a reflective practitioner. So that objective, unless you have real-time experiences and accounts of how teachers went about it, it gets difficult. So this is something which we are encountering as a challenge even now. The 7 or 6 write-ups that we have, they kind of fall between, they fall into this trap of trying to present that we worked with a hypothesis and we used these tools, and therefore this is valid for all classrooms or all teachers. So I think that's something which is, again, an ongoing process which needs to be strengthened, of how do you help teachers document and reflect on the exploratory phase of their action research. So that's something which Ekta, Esther, Gaurav and I will be doing, and we hope to come out with a volume in a very near future. So if it's okay, I would want Ekta to add something. Ekta, if you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So am I audible to everyone? Yeah, so today itself, we were discussing, me and Mansi, we sat down and looked at these 6 articles, and a kudos to those 6 researchers who have sent us, if they are there listening, a good high five to them. So I think when we were talking about challenges, yeah, there are many challenges in doing classroom-based action research, but I think the greatest challenge is to get it published. Once you have done the symposium, you are through, you have done your research, then also it is our responsibility to share it with the larger community. So that it just not lies with that with us. So I think it's also very important to share it with the community. And in this process, we did our symposium on 9th of December 2003, the batch one participants. And I think it was a very well done symposium. All the teachers were able to speak out their work and everything. But then what after that? So to spread the word to the larger audience, we thought of doing a volume, as Mansi talked about, and we are on it. And I think it would be a great resource for classroom-based action research in India, in Delhi, and particularly in government schools. So I think we are on the way, and we promise that we'll be out with the volume soon. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. So now there may be certain things that have not been shared to the satisfaction of all the mentors or whatever, but nevertheless, there's going to be now a question and answer session. I think if there are questions, you either raise your hand or put it in the chat box. We'll try and see. So this is over to everybody. Whatever questions, I don't know if you have already shared this in the chat box. Let me check. There's somebody who had raised their hands. I cannot. Would Richard and Eleonora like to take over?
Yeah, we'll watch out for that, Rama. Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, thank you so much, all of you, for that great presentation. So many insights, and I think so important, as you say, to highlight what you're doing as a local educational authority, taking responsibility, and some of the insights Gaurav and others shared about how how that is working, and the challenges are really useful for others. Vinaya Daraju, you'd like to ask a question? Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Vinay.
Vinay. Yes.
Yeah, hello everyone. And this is Vinay from Telangana. My question is to the mentors, is because most of them express their views that there are teachers who dropped out from the projects. Have you ever tried why they were dropped out? So this is the similar challenges that as a mentors in Telangana.
Okay. Who would like to go? Who would like to answer this question? Answer Vinay's question.
Should I do it?
Why did they drop out? Okay.
Esther, yeah.
Esther.
Some of the teachers did not get permission, as Gaurav mentioned, from their principals to leave the school on duty. Some of the teachers thought that they could not balance between coming for the workshop and doing other they had other responsibilities as well. Vinay, I think you are aware of how the government teachers are burdened with other responsibilities, administrative responsibilities, which they cannot get out of. These were the basic 2 challenges that they dropped out. No other reason.
But Esther, as Gaurav mentioned, they also looked for some extrinsic, incentives, or maybe they had the secret feeling that they'll be enabled to do their PhD through this. So then it sort of backfires. Maybe.
That was just one person who did it.
I see. Okay.
Ma'am, that was the initial mindset of some of the teachers, but yes, by the passage of time, the process changes some kind of mindset.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is interesting to
know, some other
question. To know why they drop out. But I always think, because always there are teachers who drop out, many different reasons, but it's remarkable how many teachers finish, we should say, because of all the different challenges and as you've expressed today, so many challenges that government school teachers are facing. I think we can think in that positive way too. So that is amazing. So would anyone else like to ask any questions? Please put up your hand or write in the chat. One question here. Chandanja is asking
Okay.
how to get teachers of my mentee school to opt for
Chandan?
yes. Because it's
Yeah, so
required
basically,
intrinsic
how to get
motivation.
the teachers from my mentee school to opt for such practices where they can, look for the nuances, what they have been doing in their classrooms, and how a particular way of talking to the kids can lead to the greater, output of the classroom processes. Because it mainly requires, and as everybody witnessed that intrinsic motivation is the key factor, so that anyone will opt this process, like, okay, let's indulge in this action research project. So how to get them into such processes?
Rama, do you want to answer that? Or?
Who wants to respond? What about okay, yeah, Gaurav.
Chandan, as a organization, I can say that we need different platforms. First of all, at times there is a intrinsic motivation, but because of some kind of platform or with a larger community of similar mindsets, teachers often do not carry these kind of reflective exercises. So I think one thing that can, like one said, why there is a need of initiating these kind of projects at organization level, say district or state. So these platforms may help teachers to get on the track, and if there is some kind of say support from the school, it will definitely going to motivate them, because they are teachers and they are doing a lot of reflective exercises. So I am very much clear that there is no lack of need of intrinsic motivation, but some external factors we have to change as a school or as a district organization.
Kapila has her hands raised. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am, for allowing me to speak again. So, in addition to what Dr. Gaurav said, I would like to say that uh, sharing the success stories with teachers would also serve the purpose. So I can talk from my example also. I conducted an action research when I was teaching in a municipal corporation school. So I was given this class who the students couldn't read even Hindi, the first language, and I had to teach them English. So my pre-service training and my in-service training, there was still a gap after all these trainings, and my action research helped me to address the problem of my classroom and helped me grow as a teacher. So a success story such as this, and of course whatever our mentees have done, it can also help.
Okay, thanks a lot. There is a question for Usha in the chat box. Shall I read it out?
Yes,
were there any challenges in collaborating with mentee teachers to take up peer interaction activities to learn maths? Now, you are an English teacher, so they are probably asking whether there are any difficulties mentoring a teacher in another subject, or are they transferable skills? And as you said, you also learn quite a lot along the way. So what do you think?
I think being a language teacher, I was able to still, earlier I was working as a primary school teacher. Then I used to teach maths also. So I have some kind of understanding about maths. So when my mentee shared about her question, so I was able to help her out, and I was able to understand, because I'm also working in a government school, and I also know that students have some kind of phobia related to mathematics. So from my experience and from my understanding of mathematics, I was able to help my mentee. in making, different activities. And I also learned from her
Yeah.
about her classroom issues, and how she planned different peer activities and assessments related to mathematics. So it was a collaborative learning sort of
Yeah,
thing. We
that's
both
good.
learn from each other.
Okay. There are two people with their
Yeah,
hands up.
let's move to Kirti is next.
Yeah,
Kirti, please
Kirti
ask your
Lamba.
question.
Good evening, everyone. My question is for any of the mentors. That motivation is high in the beginning because we have self-motivated mentees, and motivation is also high in the end because because there is some symposium or some publication. So, how do you mentors deal with mid-stage lack of motivation? Lack of motivation that is in the middle stages of the research.
Good question.
Very good question. Yeah. Can you very quickly, can you have symposium type situations throughout where they share, where they find some excitement, so it doesn't sort of lag, in the kind of enthusiasm. That's just my, but others can say something.
May I, Rama ma'am?
Yes. Quickly.
Yeah. I think one need to a good listener to the specific problem of that particular teacher or particular teachers. Yeah, there are a lot of things, lot of trauma, lot of exercises that are going on in the classroom, and as a mentor, if you are able to listen them carefully, sharing them their traumas, their challenges, so that sense to some extent set the intrinsic motivation. That is the one thing, because all the time you cannot have symposiums or seminars because of the different situations that teachers have to have. So I think you have to have a good listener, and which could help teachers as a practitioner.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
I think we have time for Jyotsana as the last question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jyotsna Nair.
Yeah.
Right?
Hello, good evening to everyone. I'm a batch 2 participant in SCRT as an action researcher. So there's a lot of discussion about the motivation and the intrinsic motivation. So I'm also motivated when the two teachers from our school participated in batch 1 as a teacher researcher. And these two teachers motivated me, and now I'm a batch 2. And now when I do researches and all, the other teachers, the my social circle, the other teachers will also ask about the how do you do the action research. There are a lot of queries and questions regarding that. So as the Kapila ma'am also mentioned, we can share the success stories, because lots of people and teachers don't have an idea how to do the action research and all. So I think it's a great platform provided to all the teachers by the SCRT, that we got an opportunity to do the action research. So thank you for providing the opportunity, so that we can able to reflect on our challenges and problems.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jyotsna. Thank you all of you so much for such an interesting presentation. Really interesting, and great to hear the value that mentors and also the local educational authority is finding. I'm just sharing my photos from last year, and it was 1 year ago that I was able to be there with you. I think it's been very inspiring, and just like was said earlier, I think the success stories, sharing success stories with teachers is one way to motivate teachers to get involved. In the same way, we hope that in this festival, sharing is obviously success stories here today of a mentoring scheme in Delhi with the local education authority, the SCERT, will inspire others in other places to engage in support for teacher research. as SCRT has been doing in this pioneering way. So finally, thank you all very, very much again, and hope to see you at another future event, joining up with MentorNet. And this recording will be watched. Today we had a large number of participants, or around 70 were staying with us. But this will be watched, the video will be watched by others in other parts of the world, and it will be very inspiring, I'm sure. So best wishes for the future. I hope it continues, and I hope we will keep in touch and we'll learn from each other going into the future. Thanks very much, everybody, and goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, ma'am. Bye.
Bye, Rama.
Bye.